Yeah, Guenther, thank you very much for speaking with me today. We're here at the Philly F1 Arcade, and I've got a few questions, Formula One related, of course, to level at you. First of all, congratulations on your MotoGP transition. Can you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to go into that direction?
I always liked motorbikes, and it was last year that I went to the Austin race, and on the way back I thought that would be cool to try to get a team, try to set up a team here, and then I started to work on it, and obviously I couldn't get a new license, but I found somebody who was willing to sell. I found the investment money, and that's why I did it. But I think it's a very exciting sport, and I always loved it, and I never had time because I was always in Formula One. And then when you go there and say, actually now I could have time, and it's something I haven't done, it's again a project. I like projects, and that is what I got involved. But the main reason is I like any kind of motorsport. So, and MotoGP is very exciting.
Yeah. So you're CEO, you have an ownership stake in it. How does that differ from being a team principal when you're an employee of the team? Was that a particularly attractive part of this?
It was part of it. I wanted, I own my own company, a manufacturing company, composite company. And I wanted to have a stake in a race team, and I think it is a good point to enter MotoGP in the moment, and how it differs. I mean, I will have a team principal there doing the day-to-day work, but I will be, especially in the beginning, being heavily involved because I have to, because in the end I feel responsible because I don't own the team outright. I've got investors, and I feel responsible towards them, to make it happen, to make it good. So, but the day-to-day work will be somebody else. That's a little bit the difference.
Yeah.
And when you don't, I still, because I don't own it 100%, I own a part of it. You still are working with people and reporting, but it gets even more important when you have got skin in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Actually, transitioning to Formula One and your role as team principal, can you talk a little bit about that sense of responsibility that you have as a team principal for the organization that you're running, essentially? Because it's a big responsibility, right? You're responsible for people's welfare, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I also always was very conscious about, it's not only when you run a race team, when you own a company, the impact you have got to people out there, to families, because you give them a job, and you need to do a good job and make sure that you always do the best for the company, so the people can keep the job. Because if you do a bad job, if the company's not around, it's not only that you don't have a job anymore, it's hundreds of people, and hundreds of people depend on it. That for me that is always the biggest thing when I'm involved in a company, what I care about, and then obviously you're also responsible that you keep everything as safe as possible. And I say it with Formula One because you've got two drivers, which safety, you never compromise safety to performance. I never do. I want to be fast, but I take a risk with safety. No. I don't do that. That's not going to happen. That is, you need to be always conscious, because it's very attractive to say, we take a risk to go quicker, and then we have success. But if it goes wrong, you put somebody in danger. I don't like that.
Yeah. And there's a big psychological component to this, right? In terms of driver psychology and team management psychology. How do you prioritize that when it comes to your sort of day-to-day work in your role?
It is very important, because if the people, I wouldn't say they are not happy, because you obviously got some people which are unhappy. You cannot make everybody 100% happy, but you need to keep them motivated. That is the biggest effect on psychology. You need to, how you keep the people motivated, that they do their best, that you have got good results. That starts with the cleaning lady, with the mechanic, with the people that do the pit stop, to the drivers. You need to keep them motivated, and you keep them motivated by letting them know what you want to achieve, and telling them the realistic targets of the team.
Yeah, and is there a certain amount of, you have to keep your emotions in check for the benefit of the team? Like, if a driver goes and wrecks the car and costs the team a fortune, knocking all four wheels off it, You got to like.
Wrong question. That is not the right question for me because I'm known not to keep my emotions in check.
I think you do though. I think you do because I don't think you could just be freewheeling with your emotions when the driver comes back, right? You've got to put an arm around them and.
Yeah, it depends. But it depends. Situation on situation is different. But sometimes also to tell them where the limit is, I think needs to be done as well. Because you cannot always just say it's all right. Let's try again. No, it's not all right because what I said before. Because as a team principal, you're not only responsible for the driver, you're responsible for hundreds of people. Yeah. And if you run out of money or run out of financing, everybody loses his job. And if a driver doesn't understand that, you have to tell him pretty strict, this doesn't fly, buddy. That's the line, exactly. You need to put a line in the sand.
Yeah.
I did that quite a few times. Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
Well, you alluded to it with your personality. And did the Netflix notoriety, fame impact your work as a team principal, or did that not change anything?
No, it didn't change anything. As much as people think it did, for me personally, and nothing changed because I didn't behave different. I didn't do anything different. Obviously, where you get into, you have to do more appearances, which takes a little bit of time. But then if you have good people around you which plan it, it's okay. But what it does also for the team, you get a lot more attention. Guess what? You get more sponsors. So you have not to see it as a negative. You have to see it as a positive. If you use it as a positive, because I didn't use it for my own benefit. I didn't benefit. The biggest benefit the team got because we found a title sponsor and all that stuff. And that it didn't have only to do with me, but part of it was to do with me, with getting this notoriety. Obviously then I wrote a book, which again wasn't my idea to write a book. People asked me, should we do a book together? But I made sure that I don't spend too much time on it. I did it with the right people, which my first thing was like, guys, I don't have a lot of time. I cannot spend 4 hours a week talking to you, and said, how much time have we got? I said, after each race, 20 minutes. And that is what we did, so it all worked out. But it got busier, but I wouldn't say it distracted me from running the team.
Yeah. So for me, I've been a Formula One fan for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. I always dreamt that I would be a driver. Was that ever in your future? Did you ever imagine doing that? And as a team principal, was it ever tempting to say, oh, I'll just hop in the car, give it a quick lap on testing or something? Did you ever drive a Formula One car?
No, I never drove a Formula One car. I never had the dream of becoming a driver. No, never had the dream. And how I grew up, we didn't have the money to do it. I knew, and I think I don't have the talent. And I realized I don't have the talent when I was in rallying, sitting on the co-driver seat of Colin McCrae. I saw what the guy can do with the car. That knocked that made me aware of where my limit was, what this people can do. And being an F1 team, I never had the urge to drive an F1 car because I think that's just a big distraction for the team. And it's just for my own. But I cannot imagine that I enjoy it because I cannot drive these cars. If I want to do it properly, I need to train for 6 to 12 months, because when you go out with these cars, to use the downforce, you need to keep the tires warm. Yeah. But to keep the tires warm, you need to be brave. Drive it hard, So it's like, and the last thing you want to destroy one of these cars. So what are you ending up doing? Going around the racetrack slowly. Yeah. What fun is that? I mean, in an F1 car.
You look cool though. That's the other.
I don't know if going in an F1 car, going slow, you look cool. I think more you look pretty dumb,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You mentioned Colin McCrae. I was so tempted to make this all about Colin McCrae because he was sort of an idol of mine when I was a kid. Such an incredible driver, and Carlos Sainz Senior as well. This was just a total tangent, but what are your memories of Colin McCrae? Anything stand out to you?
I mean, the talent that guy had was amazing. I mean, I had a very close relationship with him because he drove for us with Ford World Rally Car 2 years. The guy, it was just there. I mean, he didn't need to work hard for it, It was just there, and he didn't work hard for it, Colin was pretty relaxed. I mean, he was not like, a hard worker. No, he was just, and also his level of confidence, it was like amazing, I mean, I can do this. I mean, you would never say to Colin McCrae, or Colin, you cannot do this. He would prove you wrong. I mean, it could anything happen. So no, it was a great time, and obviously a big character as well, So But you mentioned Carlos. I mean, Carlos as well, a big talent. Senior, Carlos Senior, yeah.
And
and Junior. But I know Senior a lot better than Junior. We are good friends. I mean, I'm friends with Junior as well, but Senior, we are pretty good friends. We've got a lot of respect because one year, I think it was in '94, I worked 200 days in 1 year for Senior, yeah. And that's a lot for Carlos Sainz Senior because that wears you out. I can tell you that much. The guy is, and I say it also to him, he's just like...
It's still going.
He keeps on going. I mean, as I said to him, when are you stopping with this Dakar? When you're 80? I mean, it's like, he always says, it's the last year. Yeah, it's the last year before the next one, Yeah.
Well, I think I've got one more question probably left. If Stefano Domenicali said, Guenther, I'm taking a year off, why don't you run Formula One for a year? What would be on your list of things to do? What would you change?
What would I change? I'm a pretty good friend of Stefano. We go back a long time together, more than 20 years. So I would put, and that I say it to him as well all the time, you need more sprint races. And he is aligned, but I said you need to push because I think the weekends are just more exciting when you have more racing, more competition, a qualifying more, a race more, And I think the young generation just want excitement because watching a free practice is not, I'm sorry, it's not exciting. It's not exciting to me. I can imagine somebody who wants to watch the sport is not exciting. And we have got the opportunity, or there is the opportunity to do a sprint race. Obviously, it's not Stefano's... he hasn't got the authority to make the decision on his own. He needs somebody to play. And you know who it is? FIA. And they say it's too much work. I mean, but I think in 27, I think and I hope we see more sprint races. I think next year, because I spoke with Stefan about this, he said next year with the new regulations, we need to go slow, because there could be some things and we overstress people. And I said, all right, then I give you that one. But 27, I want to see more.
Can you tell him that the fans don't want shorter races? Can you please tell him that? Because
I will tell him that, yeah.
From me.
Okay, yeah. No, and the races, because I saw that comment. The races, F1 races, are not very long, I must say. No. They are okay. I mean, that's why I say the sprint race is fantastic. You have a short race and a long race, that's good. But a lot shorter. I would rather make more sprint races than shorter F1 races.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Guenther, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.